Hey guys, I'm Sean. I'm the lead designer at MetMo.
I'm James.
And we're the designers of Fractal Grip.
And what we're doing here today is we're just going to give you a bit of a rundown, and just give you some insights from our perspective of like why we've done certain things.
Hopefully explain how to use the Fractal Grip and get the most out of it. Okay, so let's start with what the options are. So in front of us we have black aluminium version. So this version has a 7000 series body, which is extremely hard. But then we've inset it with 440C hardened grips either side, so they're what's going to be in touch with the screws or the nuts that you're trying to tackle. And then next up we have a complete stainless steel 440C hardened body, including the grips and the fractal there. And then the special series is the titanium body. So that's full grade 5 titanium, but we've also used the 440C hardened stainless steel for the jaws, purely because it's harder than titanium and will last much, much longer.
So everyone's going to be asking straight away, Sean, why haven't you made the whole thing out of titanium? Because we get asked this a lot.
We do get asked this quite a lot. So the simple answer is titanium just isn't as hard as stainless steel. So if we were to make these jaws out of titanium, it'd be great for like maybe a year. It depends what you're using it for, but eventually they will just wear down and you'll lose the sharpness of the teeth. Whereas with a material like 440C, it'll last for years and years if you looked after it properly.
That's good. So we're looking at the three versions here. Very distinctively, to the untrained eye, they all look the same. We have very definite distinctions between these two and the full stainless steel model, which is stainless steel through and through.
So we were actually able to we had a bit more freedom with the full stainless steel, wouldn't we? So you see on the back here, if I just bring it to the camera, there are two blades on the back of that. Whereas if you look closer at the aluminium version, you can see no blades. And that is because there is a fixing point on the inside of there, which attaches these removable jaws to the body. Whereas on the stainless steel version, we didn't need to do that. So we had this real estate to attach these blades. And we can explain about how they work later on as well.
So do you want to just give the guys a bit of a rundown of where this design came from? Because this is another classic piece of MetMo design being inspired in the past.
Yeah, so we found a 1913 patent for a product called the triplet grip, which is this guy, which looks pretty awesome. It didn't really last very long, did it? I think it was sold in the by Stanley for a while.
Yeah, what we've done research-wise, it sort of shows it wasn't sold for very long. We've got it it's in a journal from around 1915, being sold actively. But that's kind of where the storyline of this one ends, really. We couldn't find it being sold widely beyond that, time-wise. So yeah, not widely lived, and we think we know why.
Yeah, so what do you think stopped this from being a hit?
Well, from when we've been getting hold of this and using it, the conventional use of this time frame would have been, when it's being used as a spanner, and this half specifically, it's not parallel. So this was a time where there were a lot of like different kinds of grips and spanners and wrenches being created and engineered, and a lot of them are more focused on the parallelism. So this never really grips onto a nut in a parallel manner. Actually, we've got a nut over here, haven't we? And I don't know if it's going to show up very well here, but you can kind of see the way it's sitting in there, and you're gripping on this, and you can see in here, probably not going to show up very well, but the damage it's doing to the actual jaws here. So yeah, it was probably just not quite as good as some of the other things around at the time. you know, there was a lot of competition. This is in the wrench wars era, where, you know, a lot of people were fighting it out to get the standard wrench. And then similarly at this end, we've got these teeth, which are designed obviously to grip onto like the smaller items, smaller nuts and things that wouldn't conventionally fit. But again, one edge is smooth, so it kind of half grips, half extrudes away from what you're trying to get hold of. And this might be demonstrating the difficulty actually in how. So yeah, it's pretty good, but not fantastic. So I think there's a few little design flaws in it inherently that has just slowed it down from being. And it, you know, it's not a beautifully made. Craftsmanship on this is incredible. It's lasted hundreds of years, this one. So this is an original. So we've taken that and we've tried to design out some of these flaws and these little issues and make it work for the modern era. Yeah.
So you can see we've clearly taken inspiration for the adjuster mechanism, because that, for me, that is so awesome. That we've obviously shrunk it, so it's perfect for pocket sized.
Yeah, this has got quite a heft to it.
Yeah.
This is, you know, you would know you're carrying that.
But also, it can also grip onto the same size nuts as that one though. So we have made it big enough to clamp onto like 19mm nuts, which is quite handy. So we managed to shrink it, but also retain some of that wide jaw.
Yeah. Do you want to just touch on the fractal? I keep calling it a fractal jaw. Technically it's not, but it does take the same design, same parts we designed for the fractal vise.
This guy. It's pretty much the exact fractal. We took that of the final stage. So
that jaw just allows it to adapt in a way that no other wrench does really, or no spanner or however you want to say it.
So essentially that's allowed to free move, and then as you bring this jaw down, you can either clamp flat, so that is completely parallel now, so that has got hold of that. And then we've also incorporated these grooves, so if you are coming in from an angle trying to undo a nut, you can just clamp on the edge and then quickly get out of that really, and then move around to undo it. So
yeah, it's a tough thing to demonstrate without being there, but we've tested it in like getting into like tight little areas, and those little nooks really just allow you to nip in and get onto a little thing in a quick way as well, because we didn't want to create like another crescent style wrench where, you know, you have to adjust it onto it every time and then release it and adjust. So that little quick action just allows you to just jump in and nip onto things, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll just try and demonstrate that up close. So you can see the fractal sitting at a nice angle there, and then as it comes round, it just nips onto the edge of the nut. If you can imagine that in the real world, it's
quite satisfying.
It's very satisfying, yeah. And then do you want to explain what we've done with the other side? So
so the other end, just gone for we've taken inspiration from, like, you know, regular pliers. So it's got more of a plier kind of structure at the top end here, and we can kind of see that going on in there. Center area in the center here, designed in such a way to grip onto a round bar, so you can get like a bit larger round bar into the center there, grab onto it. And this isn't really meant to be delicate, so these are quite sharp. You know, this is hardened stainless steel, designed to not deform. It's designed to deform the thing you're gripping onto. We've done it on purpose so that, you know, if you've got a rusty bolt, something that is ruined needs to come out, nails, you know, you don't really care about them coming out in a friendly way. This is designed to grip onto it, hold it, and then let you really put some force behind and, you know, get that thing out of there, and, you know, it's not going to be in a good state afterwards. So that's the center there. That's, you know, for nice round bars. And then this can also be used I haven't got any, but if we're going to hammer a nail into our bench, you know, you can grip onto a nail in here and then use the mechanical advantage of the handle that you've got here, and then to wrench out a nail, or lever it over, readjust, and then pull out. Either works quite well, we've noticed, but yeah, that's what that's designed for. So that's really like, hardened to withstand that kind of behavior. And then the stainless steel version, because we've got a little more freedom in the space where we didn't have to have the jaws attached separately. We've got these cutters in here, which can be used to like strip wire, cut little bits of.
What would you say is
the filament?
The maximum thing it could, like if you were to tackle a certain like material, what would you say?
We did try and cut a brass tube with it. It didn't do that. So, you know, there are limits to what it'll cut. Any little if you're out, you know, if you need to cut fishing wire, I would say 2mm cable, normal household cable, it cut through completely fine. Copper wire, that kind of thing.
So like plugs would be.
Plugs are fine. You know, if you really need to make a safe plug not safe anymore, you know, really ruin someone's day. You say it'll chop 3D printer filament all day. And that's quite easy to cut it through. But and it's all done with this end here. So we should probably just touch on the, you know, this isn't just a set of pliers and a clamp. It's a set of pliers and a spanner. It's actually, it holds what you grip onto at the end of the day. So, you know, if you want to just hold that there, you can. That's done now. I'm not.
Yeah, and then
that's grabbed it.
You can combine it with a standard vise. You can pop it into a fractal vise, and then you can work on that. Yeah.
So we've tried to incorporate these kind of little things to make them feel more like a toolmaker's clamp. If anyone who's familiar with that in engineering, they're like very specific clamps that are designed to work in like hold metal together whilst you're working on them. And this was like, so we've combined like that kind of feel, which is some of the styling and things you can see in there, with the original. So it gives you this ability to then, you know, you can file up here or really get around what you're working on, or anything like that really. And
it works with the other side as well. So
yeah, we've got the silicon soft jaws in the in this particular vise in a minute, because
we don't want to damage these.
We don't want to damage these little things.
Just to touch back on the side cutters as well. These are fully replaceable, so there's just 2 screws in there, and you can replace those. Nice and easy.
So we've designed this as a bit of a range, especially on, you know, this on Kickstarter as well, to, you know, give you all like a bit of a, you know, do you prefer the ability to have a full stainless steel non-replaceable parts but have the cutters, or the aluminium versions that, you know, if these parts get damaged, you can just undo them and they'll come apart, and you can maintain them and repair them that way around. Because we know these, you know, pliers and grips and things like that, they're normally put through their paces in some like fairly harsh environments where, you know, things are going to get damaged. So we've kind of tried to allow for that, so you don't have to replace the whole thing. You can just replace the points that are actually getting damaged. So that was quite that's a unique thing that we wanted to work into this. That normal pliers and things like that, you know, they're very much.
If they get damaged, they're done. Yeah.
If they get dropped into an engine turbine and, you know, or a set of gears, they're not coming back. So, but these ones, you know, you can repair them. So yeah.
So what do you say? What would you say it does very, very well? What's its like?
Oh well, I mean, it hangs on to things like there's. It just loves to hang on to things, doesn't it?
It does grip really well. Do not put your finger in it. I've done that many times.
It's quite. It's an odd set. Every time we make something that grips things,
I always put my finger in
everybody
everything.
puts their hand in it and says, "Oh, that's really strong."
Yeah.
You know, that's the human nature for you.
Yeah. Does it crush? Yes.
Does it? Yes.
Yes, it does. So another handy feature that we've not touched on yet is the drive. So standard 6.35mm hex bit will handily just sit in the back there and clamp perfectly in the body. And then it's centralized, so you can, whatever you're working on, you can pop that, and then it just spins like a T-bar. Really, really simple. You can put extenders in there, and it just works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got like a little T-drive handle. If this was the only tool you're carrying, and you didn't happen to be carrying a pocket driver, for instance,
you could combine it with the magnetic bit case.
Yeah, yeah. It would, you know, it's a shameless plug, but you know, who knows? You might find it useful.
So even with the bit inside, that does clamp. I'll just show you again. So that slides in there. Really light twist on this, and then that it does not come out. So we'll do some testing on the grip strength of this and what it's rated to, because it is very, very good at gripping.
Clamping?
So what we've found it really, really good at is if you're working on something and you want to glue, these for example, you want to glue them together, it's really handy at just quickly adjusting and then parallel clamping anything you're gluing together. So if you're working on that kind of thing, you can just use them as quick clamps. It's a really handy little feature, that.
Yeah.
The lead screw that's in this has got a very shallow pitch angle. So as you're screwing this, it's easy to rotate around the screw, but because the pitch angle is so shallow, there is no way you can move the screw up and down by just pulling it. So that's why you can just put a tiny pinch on that and it will clamp on anything and just not let go. It's all to do with the pitch angle. So let's put it through its paces. We have pretty tight screw going to the side of one of our steel barrels from a MetMo driver. We've not prepped this in any way, so what we're going to do now is just clamp onto this and see if we can open it. So that is now fully clamped onto the side of that. Yeah, that was quite easy. So any screw that's seized, any bolt that's welded itself into a housing, you can attack this from any angle and use the leverage that's built into this to undo anything, really. So it's really good at stuff like that.
I know you've already mentioned this, Sean, but they're quite effective, like little toggle clamps, just around the shop, just holding some parts together. You can hold parts in it to give you a bit more because the jaw does adaptively adapt to anything that's kind of parallel or round in there.
Yeah, that's a good example to.
Yeah, you got a bit of metal or something, or need to grip something that's slightly unusual. You know, it will do that and give you that locked in moment there. That then you can put that on your drill bed, work on this piece of material.
Yeah, we used it quite a lot in the testing with a pillar drill, didn't we?
Yeah,
just to clamp anything really.
Clamping stock material. Could beat it to death on an anvil. It's all good.
Yeah. So just to touch on the other elements of this as well. So we have, in true MetMo style, we've incorporated anything that's turning that needs a bit of self-lubrication, we use brass. So high tensile brass for the adjuster and the main pivot point. That just keeps everything silky smooth, doesn't it?
Really did want it to be this small handheld pocket size, tuck away into an everyday carry kind of case, alongside some other tools. So you've got like something a bit different in the toolkit that isn't just like another spanner. It's not another screwdriver. It's like a different genre of tool that's like that, covering that multi-tool area. That's really just useful for all those little awkward tasks that crop up, and you're like, oh, I wish I could just hold that there whilst I do something else. Or I wish I could just, grip onto that and walk away for 5 minutes and go and pick up something else. You know, I think everyone's probably been there.
Yeah,
in that
absolutely.
In that world.
So that about wraps up MetMo Pocket Grip. So if you have any questions at all, drop us a comment on Kickstarter, or jump across the Cube Club, where I was on, so we can answer any questions there. Any feedback that you have, just drop us a line. It'd be amazing to get your feedback. So cheers guys.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.